So Hien, you were kind of, as mentioned already, involved in big companies in machine learning platforms of big companies, building them, right? Uh, did you see like what are the main patterns that repeat from company to company when it comes to these kind of giants, right? And maybe something worth mentioning that is kind of similar and maybe different.
In terms of like building their ML infra, or in terms of like adopting technologies, or maybe both.
Maybe ML infra.
What I've seen is I think it's very applicable for most company. Essentially, their journey of adopting machine learning, and we also know that the ML AI area evolves over time as well, right? New algorithms and such. For these big company, there's an ML platform and infra team. Their goal is to help all the product teams in terms of applying machine learning as quickly, as easy as possible. So their infrastructure evolves over time as well. There's a certain core pieces or customers that they work with initially to enable those use cases, and learn from those and build an infrastructure that other teams can leverage after that. It's almost like you building, a product from a startup company, right? You partner with some key early design partners and gain experience from there and build your product based on that. And then you expand that product footprint out to support other customers in the future and such. It's kind of similar in that sense. But the difference is like these internal teams, so they can work closely together, very closely, and then they can move fast. And then for these company, that a little bit interesting, maybe a little bit different than like MLOps startup and company, is the scale that they have to deal with. The case of Netflix, LinkedIn, Uber, when the company gets bigger, we're talking about like large model, we're talking about large volume of data. Supporting those scale, it's very, very challenging. And then you have to also think about the efficiency aspects of it. You can think about throwing more hardware to the problem, but at a certain point, the cost becoming too significant. So optimization is, at a certain point, will become a big part of the engineering work that the ML infra team has to deal with. And engineers love that kind of optimization problem, obviously. And it also plays a pretty key impact in terms of reducing costs for the company at the same time. Reducing costs as well as able to improve, for example, prediction latency, right? So that's kind of what I see from patterns from these companies. They start out small, working with key partners on certain hero use cases. As the company scales up, different problems comes into the picture. Then they pivot and solve those kind of optimization, and obviously, catching up with all the technologies that's evolving rapidly in the field at the same time.
And like to give us some examples of the scale. Let's take LinkedIn. You've been engineering manager of AI infrastructure. Well, it was 2017. Was it the time when they were establishing a kind of AI infra team from scratch, or it was already present when you joined?
This is also a pattern I see as well, and I think a lot of companies can learn from that. They don't have to go through that same journey. Essentially, some pocket of the company that are really heavy at applying machine learning to solve that problem. So they start this tight group within that organization to help them. And then gradually the company recognizes that hey, this is something that can be leveraged by multiple teams. Then they say, oh, let's start a horizontal machine learning infrastructure team and formalize that team, and then fund that team to build solutions and products that are applicable for multiple teams. So this is very common. very common across the industry in the early days, right? But now when, startups or other companies that are applying machine learning, they don't have to go through that same path because they recognize that it's a common need. It's an MLOps. We know what the needs are. There's a lot of good best practices now, so they can start. They don't have to build like, a 20-person team initially, but they can build a small team to focus on MLOps infrastructure. And then perhaps starting out just partnering with some key teams to start out, but still have that seed investment with that mindset of this is going to be useful across multiple teams.